Hey YouTube, Aiden / Only Aiden. Again, talking about the Dutch bass trombone open. That was a little segment of a stereogram. Oh wait, this is pushed in all the way. Hope you guys didn't notice that. I don't think I used that valve. Okay, we're good. I want to talk about the bass trombones of the Dutch bass trombone open. I played a whole bunch of horns when I was there, just kind of like swapping around with people. For me, that's a really big joy of going to a conference that has a bunch of trombonists or whatever. And this one just had bass trombonists, so I got to see this whole huge variety of bass trombones and just get to play them. Just be like, hey, want to swap horns? Like, I want to try your horn. I mean, this looks weird. You probably want to try this. And for me, that's just so fun. I love doing that. And I'm a super nerd, and I accept that, and that's fine. So, horns I played. Obviously, I played mine a bunch. My horn performed pretty well. As per usual, when I travel, I get worse at playing, and I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I'm getting better and better and better at traveling and then playing after I travel. But I was still not super happy. My low register ended up being great the whole time I was there. My upper register and soft playing kind of had some rough spots, I guess. I don't know. I was just trying to dial it in like the entire time I was in Europe. And eventually it was okay, but now, even now, just a couple days back with not that much practice time, I'm way better than I was when I was in Europe, which is really annoying. I wish I could just transfer my skills here to anywhere I go, and it just doesn't seem to work that way. Anyway, so I played my horn a bunch. Of course, it's a nightmare to keep in shape. I had to take the valves apart when I was there just to tear it down, clean, and oil them. My slide only lasted like a day and a half each time, so I had to clean it and redo it a whole bunch. But a lot of people were really impressed with my sound, which I was a little bit surprised by. And the people who I had play my instrument were also impressed. Several people played it. Martin Skippers, second / bass trombone of the Concertgebouw Orchestra, played my horn. He plays a Shires with a Bach belt. Not exactly like my old one, but similar, just in that it's a Shires with a Bach belt. He sounds amazing on his horn. And he played this, and he loved it, and he sounded pretty good on it too. So hey, a glowing endorsement from a really amazing player. I still think the high range of my horn is not spectacular. Anyway, let's get on to the horns I played that were not mine. I played a Greenhoe valve set, Bach slide, and a Mount Vernon Bach bell. I thought it was okay. I played a little bit. I played it with, I think, my tuning slide. I can't remember. We swapped horns during just like a little thing. And I liked it. Greenhoe valves, I would have to get used to them. They're very different than what I'm used to with my Thayers. There is a little bit of resistance, and they have such a short throw that I really kind of don't dig the valve legato. Like when you play a slur through the valve, you always get the little flip, 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 or even like a really serious articulation when you move the valve. And I'm really used to just having this smooth transition, valve to not valve. And it sounded okay, responded okay. Those horns, those like vintage Bachs with new equipment, I've not been super impressed yet with one, because I've also played at a different place, a New York Bach bell, which is even older, even more rare, with Shires dependent Thayers. And I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was spectacular. My horn, playability and even sound-wise in a lot of departments has always been just like a step above those. So I played that. I played a Leish Daniel's horn. Daniel Clemenson, his has a screw bell, carbon fiber valves. It's super fancy. It's super easy to play. I mean, I think that's the name of the game now, is horns are just kind of easy to play. Edwards kind of started this. This is my Edwards. It's very easy to play. But I didn't really dig the sound. The horn is very light, like maybe 2/3 of the weight of my instrument, maybe even half. Just so light, very well balanced. It was very comfortable to hold. I was like, wow, this is what a bass trombone could be like if I didn't play a super heavy instrument. But the sound didn't do it for me. Just something missing from it. Every really light horn that I've played has been like that. I don't necessarily like super heavy horns. I think my horn happens to be heavy and it sounds good. It's not like a heavy horn sounds good just because it's heavy, but the light horns don't really do it for me. Maybe if I played in a different place or played in a totally different style, I would dig that more. I play a Shire's Lone Star model. I've played those, I think, on 2 occasions now in different places, and I just love them. I have to change how I blow in the low register just like a %, and then I start to feel like I sound like Brian Hecht, who is the artist behind that model. I just kind of slightly change my mindset and I get that sound, and I'm like, oh man, I would be totally cool with sounding like that all the time. If I were to buy a Shire's, that would probably be the model that I would get. And there's nothing spectacular about it. It's just dual bore slide, axials, C tuning slide, and like the most standard bell. I mean, it's like a Shire's bass drum alone is his model. But it has a cool engraving, and it just, I would totally be cool with one of those. I like that a lot. I played a Tyne Ben Van Dyke and a Tyne Universal. The Ben Van Dyke is obviously Ben Van Dyke's trombone model, and then the Universal is modeled after Zachary Bond's bass trombone. I'm not sure why it's not called the Bond or something, because he plays it. Whatever. Neither of them I was very impressed by. I'm not sure of the specs on the Universal, but the Ben Van Dyke has a 547, 562 dual bore slide, which is smaller. That's like a dual bore slide on a large tenor. It's got like a 10.5-inch bell, Hagman's, and the usual tuning, and they're independent, which I like. But I just, especially with Gray Black mouthpiece, which I use, which has a pretty big throat, it's pretty big, just doesn't really jive with those instruments. I just could not get it to respond the way I wanted to. I think if I played in a different way and maybe played a more appropriate mouthpiece, those would probably be great. But the way I play, the way I want to approach the horn, didn't really match me. Universal also didn't feel great, so I don't know. I think the Universal's a little bigger, has like a single bore slide maybe, and it's just a little bit different through the bell. And I still didn't really like it. So something about those. Times are very well made though. What else did I play? I finally played a Bach 50 AF3 that was good. This was owned by a guy who plays in a Mexican orchestra, Monterrey. Adrian is his name. And it's just a stock 50 AF3. I think he's had just a couple things done to it, but it plays so well. The valves were so good. It was very different than my instrument, which you might not expect since my horn is also a Bach, but modern Bachs, I don't know, there's something about the way they build them, it's just different. I don't know if I would live with it full time, especially with the Bach slide, but I did like it a lot. I think that might have been the majority. No, I played a Venture. It's an Austrian company. I can't even remember what it is. They make altos and stuff. They make very nice trombones. There's an Austrian guy there who had one. It had Hagman's, and he played with an Edwards single bore slide and a Fencher, something like that. Frencher maybe? It's not Frencher. It's like PF something. One of their bells on it, and I thought it was pretty good. It was a pretty good instrument. With my dual bore slide, made the sound just a little more what I like. I thought it was a pretty good instrument. He wants to change instruments so he can play in German orchestras. They will not let you play in a German orchestra without a German trombone, so he has to switch and get something else. But I thought it was pretty good. I don't know, I didn't play that much. And I probably played a couple other things, but that was kind of the majority. Kind of what I learned is that most other trombones, especially like the Shire's Lone Star model, just have way better high registers than my horn does. The Shire's just had clean slots all the way up, just that you could just sit on. You didn't have to do anything. You just play them. And it had this great sound all the time. This horn just doesn't do that. It just doesn't give me that support. It's not that I can't play in the high register. It's not that I can't make it sound good. I just have to do so much more to actually get to that point, which is something I'm just going to have to work on. I do have some changes coming up to this soon, and we'll talk about that in another video. But all in all, I think my horn stood up pretty well. People like my sound, and I didn't think any other horns I played really blew me away and made me want to change, except for maybe the Shires. Maybe someday. And that's all. See you guys next time.